What is up, everyone? Jeremy here. Welcome to Weekly What's New, episode number 18. Very first topic, we hit 500 subscribers this past week, y'all. Round of applause. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much for choosing to subscribe to the channel. I'm happy that you found the channel. I'm extra happy that you dig the content enough to choose to subscribe. So thank you to all the new subscribers and to the continued support from my existing subscribers. Really means a lot to me to see the channel continuing to grow like this. That's very encouraging and feels very rewarding, to have y'all as subscribers and basically hitting that button is you telling me that you dig the content that I'm producing and putting out there enough to want to see more of it, and that's huge. It's very rewarding, and I just want to say thank you. With that, we're going to jump into the second topic, which is just a quick point of clarification on my most recent video, which is titled Aris Effects Brutal Boost. I had published that video originally in the title. It said Aris Effects Brutal Boost V3. It mentioned V3 in the description, as well as in my Instagram post promoting the video. I had put in the comments of the Instagram post V3. And Aris Effects commented on that, and obviously they were thankful for the continued support, but mentioned, just a point of clarification that the Brutal Boost is not V3. And I want to point that out because I actually said V3 in the video, so I can't go back and just pull out what I said in the video. I removed it from the title and the description, but I still say it in the video. So again, just a quick point of clarification. The Brutal Boost is, from what I understand, a Gen 1 pedal. The reason for the confusion is the Brutal Drive V3 shipped in this recent batch of new pedals that they put out. So there was the Brutal Drive V3, the Ruthless Fuzz, and then the new Brutal Boost. And I had just confused the two, so I called it V3 when it's actually V1 pedal. Anyways, it's still a kick-ass pedal. Incredible pedal. Go check out that video. I'll put a link up here in the corner so you can go check it out. It's actually a really fun video. I put together this really cool playthrough of an original track I'm working on, just to demo the pedal. I had a lot of fun doing it, so if anything, just go check out the playthrough. It's actually pretty cool. All right, so next topic is I've been playing with a lot of the stock instruments that ship with Logic recently. And I spent some time this week playing with the studio strings, and specifically it's the violins, the cello, and the bass are the ones that I was playing with, and I am completely blown away. They sound fantastic, and there are so many articulations that are provided. It's unbelievable what you can do with this thing. And I just wanted to kind of jump into the DAW here real quick and just show you what I put together in maybe, I don't know, about 2-3 hours of just kind of playing around with this thing. So I've still got a lot to learn, but I was just completely blown away. So let's just, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to solo just the strings so you can hear all the articulations. And I'll actually pull them up on the screen now, and you can see the different articulations changing. You can see where the articulation is changing as it plays, and you can see, right here it says last played articulation on both of these. And let's see, those are the violins. Here's the bass. In fact, I'll just pull up one of the cellos here. Okay, so here you go. You got violin, cello, and bass. So I'm gonna play this and just kind of keep an eye on this articulation and just look at all the different articulations it's using. You're going to hear things like falls, like slide downs, rises and slide ups, staccato, spiccato, all kinds of stuff. So check this out. Is that not incredible? I was blown away at what I was able to do with this thing. And I'm not a composer, music theory is definitely not something I've ever really learned. So I'm kind of going by ear on a lot of this stuff. And so I started throwing in some of these articulations just to kind of breathe life into this. And I just kind of fell in love with all the different articulations that this offers. I'll just kind of jump into one here and show you. So like this is the violin. And so we've got this, let's see, it was sustain, spiccato. I think we've got sustain. Here's a fall long. And then I think I'm using glissando up. That is incredible. And then let's see, staccato, and then a fall long again. So I'll just solo this violin because this is where I'm doing a lot of the articulation. Check this out. That is so wild. Yeah, I was really digging this. So here's this whole thing that I'm working on with these strings, just to kind of put it in context for you. This is not like, if you go check out that Aries Effects video, there are some really heavy blast beat, just insane heaviness happening in that. Lots of chugging. This is more chorded, obviously, as you can hear with the strings. It's got a lighter feel to it. But that's, obviously I don't want everything I do to sound the exact same. But anyways, here's this thing I'm working on. Okay, you get the idea. So obviously I threw in a very dissonant chord in there and some chugging after this kind of chordy intro part with the strings, but I had a lot of fun playing with these studio strings. So all that to say, there is immense, incredible potential just built into the stuff that you have that ships with Logic Pro. So if any of y'all have Logic and you have not checked out the studio strings yet, highly encourage you to go check those out. It has opened up a whole new world of like creativity for me. Part of the reason I wanted to do this is because if any of y'all have checked out the new Architects, for those that wish to exist, the new album from Architects, they have some orchestral stuff in there and some strings and I believe horns and stuff. And I heard that in one of the tracks and I was like, man, that sounds really wild. And they were doing stuff like these falls and rises and stuff. And I was like, that's just, it sounds really, really cool. And so I kind of wanted to try and see if I could figure something out. And I was blown away with what I found that these studio strings offer. So those are the studio strings. Check them out. All right, so the next topic we're going to touch on here briefly is the new Plugin Alliance / Brainworks bxlimiter True Peak. This thing is pretty wild. So let me pull it up here on the screen. I had seen in the screenshots things like the tone control and the XL percentage, which the XL thing is, well, from what I understand it, is just like their form of saturation you can add into the mix. There's a lot of neat stuff in this, especially for like monitoring your signal, just built in. Obviously it's got I think it's like more of like a real-time LUFS meter. And one of the things I've seen in a lot of the comments and reviews is there's no long-term like integrated LUFS meter. Which is something I'm sure that they will add. But what I wanted to really point out here is the tone control, because one thing that I noticed with any of the limiters or clippers I've ever used to, like in like a mastering setup, and to be clear, with a lot of the stuff that I don't do like official mastering. I think the silly term I've seen tossed around is like mixtering, where you just set up your stereo out, or your master mix bus kind of in a mastering setup, right? So you've got You've got EQ and saturation and your limiter and stuff kind of built into your entire mix. And that's what I've been doing a lot recently, because I'm just putting stuff in my YouTube videos. Like, I'm not releasing an actual album. If I was, I would spend a lot more time mixing and then bounce this and then actually probably send it off to someone to actually have it truly mastered. Anyways, what I really wanted to point out is the tone control that is offered built into this plugin. And the reason is because when I've tested other limiters or clippers, I found that there are like high frequency artifacts that come through. It's almost inaudible. You probably can't hear them, but they're there. And the reason that I kind of identified these is because when I compare my mixes to things like using the adapter metric AB, where you can flip between reference tracks and your mix, I found a lot of the reference tracks like essentially cut all the frequencies, everything off above like 19,000 to 20,000 hertz or kilohertz. And there's nothing above that coming through. And because that's plenty high enough, you don't really need anything above that. But I have found where things like Flatline and the Slate Digital mastering plugin have these artifacts that come through above 20,000 hertz. And I've just wanted to be able to cut those off, and I haven't had a great way to do it. And so here I want to show you. So I have Flatline enabled right now, and I'm going to pull it up on the screen so you can see it. There it is. And watch the EQ here. So you're going to see above 20,000 hertz, these like additional frequencies and artifacts coming through. And here's what it looks like. Okay, so you can see how it's essentially like cutting everything off at maybe around 22,000 kilohertz. But you can see how there's stuff coming through there. Now, what I wanted is I wanted to be able to cut everything off at like 20,000. I don't want anything above that. It's just too high, and I feel like it's clashing and affecting the overall sound of those higher air frequencies. And it's just kind of artifacts at that point. It's too high. I don't want it. And I didn't have a great way to get rid of it until I found that the bxlimiter has this low pass frequency. So what I can do is enable that, and I've got it set to 20. And now watch the EQ here. Let me play this back. And watch 20 hertz. You're going to see there's none of those artifacts coming through anymore. So here it is. You see how much more clean those higher frequencies look? It's not doing anything below 20,000, right? Like I'm still getting all the air coming through in that top end, the high end crispiness of my mix, but I'm not getting those, 20 up plus 20,000 kilohertz artifacts that seem to come through with the Flatline and the Slate Digital plugins. So I was super excited to try this out and see that this low pass filter actually works. So this is definitely going to be my limiter for now. And so one of the other things that I wanted to point out here with this is the XL control. Obviously, there's a lot to this plugin. You can change the colors of it. There's a lot of things like down here with the monitoring. We'll kind of touch on that just real quick. But the other thing is this XL, which is like built-in saturation, and it's actually really good. So I've already got plenty of saturation in my master setup with the black box HG2 MS here. So with this here, I love this plugin. Highly recommend you check this out. But anyways, I got plenty of saturation, so I didn't want to add much, but I wanted to maybe just kind of see what this would do. And I found, at least for my mix, the sweet spot was pretty low at like 8 here, just because it adds a very, very subtle touch to it. But I'll crank it up so you can really hear what it's doing. Let's go ahead and I'll play it back, and then I'll just turn it up so you can really kind of hear it. Yeah, so you can hear how it really kind of affects the upper mids and highs quite a bit more. And that's obviously, if we looked into the details of how this is set up, I'm sure those are the frequencies that they're really targeting. Because in a lot of the things that I was reading about the announcement on this, and possibly even in the manual as well, but this will help bring out things like guitar, some of the cymbals, stuff like that, like an acoustic guitar. It'll help all of those cut through the mix, is what it described it as, and that's probably because of the frequencies it's targeting with this saturation. But you could hear how much it really boosted the guitars and some of the cymbals in this mix. So really kind of pay attention to the guitars and some of the cymbals. Like, it really brings them out. Yeah, like I said, I've already got plenty of saturation in my mix. I don't need that much. But that is another really, really cool feature built into this plugin. All right, and the last thing I want to touch on with the bxlimiter is just some of the soloing and monitoring that is built into this, which is pretty awesome. So down here, we have a switch left and right. So you can take your left and right and switch them so that what's on the right is actually on the left, and what's on the left is it comes through on the right. And that's a neat feature, just to kind of, because as you're listening to a mix for hours and hours and hours as you're putting things together, you can miss the fact that maybe your things are coming through more on the right than the left. And when you switch it, all of a sudden you're like, wow, I totally have to even some things out more. So I'll play with that here for just a second and show you that switch. And then I'll just kind of play with some of these soloings, the section here, how you can just listen to the mids, just listen to the sides, and then listen to the left and the right channels. And I'll just show you what it sounds like so you can hear it. Yeah, a lot of great monitoring tools built into this plugin, which is another thing that I've typically used, something like an EQ after this, like the Slate Digital Infinity EQ, so that I can move, well, right here it is. So you can move these little dials here so that you're just listening to the left, to the right, or just the mids, or just the stereo, or just the sides. So using that is typically how I've done my monitoring, but now that it's built into this, just makes my life a whole lot easier. So really cool plugin. Go check this one out. All right, and the last topic for this video is the brand new single and release from Fear Factory called Disruptor. As I mentioned in a few videos of these weekly What's News kind of leading up to this, last year in like November-ish, I was talking about how I had seen a lot from Dino and how he's talking about new Fear Factory coming in 2021. And then just a couple weeks ago or so, I was talking about, or maybe it was just the last week, talking about how he had made the official announcement. It was coming on April 16th. Well, that has come and gone, and we now have new Fear Factory for the first time in 5 years. So far, I'm digging it. Being completely honest, it didn't blow me away the first time I heard it. But anyways, I'm totally digging the song. I think it's just going to be one of those things. I haven't listened to a lot of Fear Factory lately, given the fact that they haven't released anything in 5 years. I'll throw a song or two in my playlist every once in a while. But I think it's just going to be a matter of kind of getting back into the Fear Factory sound, if you will. Because I've been listening to a lot of stuff that's not very like Fear Factory-esque. But what I'm curious about is, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the new release? And I'll put a link to the video in the description. They have an official video for that Disruptor single, so go check that out. And I'd love to know your thoughts. Hit me in the comments and let me know your thoughts on the release. And have you pre-ordered the album? They do have the pre-order available now, so you can pre-order that. Looking forward to hearing what the rest of the stuff on the album, kind of see what they put together. But super excited that we finally have some new Fear Factory for the first time in 5 years. All right, everyone, that is going to wrap up this weekly What's New. I hope you dug this content. If you did, if you liked this video, hit that like button right down below. And if you are watching this and are not subscribed to my channel, I would ask you to please consider subscribing. That button is right down below as well. I do one of these videos every week where it's just kind of a free form flow where I talk about anything and everything that's new and exciting over the last week. And in addition to that, I have a tone sample series where it's talking about dialing in tones, whether that be guitar tones or drum tones or bass tones. That series is, I've always got stuff coming out in that. And then I also have a newer series called In the Mix, where we're talking about building a great mix and everything that goes into building a great mix. And that can be tools or techniques and things like that. So if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button down below. Don't forget to hit the bell so you're notified when I upload new videos. And as always, thank you for watching and thank you for your support.